When TilBuci loads a new scene, a small animation is created with the visible instances. Until now, we've only seen a transition animation where the old ones disappear to the center of the screen, and the new ones emerge from there. In this video, we'll discover how to manage these transitions so that the final result matches what we want. Let's start by accessing the Properties window of our movie and going to the Animation and Interaction tab. Here, we can make adjustments to the transition animation. First, let's set the animation time to 0.25 seconds. Next, let's leave the Images Appear animation setting as alpha so that they appear and disappear smoothly without moving to the center of the screen. Finally, we'll leave the interpolation method as linear. After making these adjustments, click on Save Animation and Interaction Settings. Now, let's create a scene called Title. To begin, let's use the same background video from the intro scene, and for that we'll reuse the media collection already created. Access the Media menu and click on Add from Collection. On the right side we see two lists. In the upper one, we have media collections that are already loaded. In the lower one, other collections available in the movie but that have not yet been opened. Click on the intro collection and you'll see its assets appear in the right column. Media collections in TilBuci can be reused throughout the movie, functioning as libraries and saving time. Select the first asset, the background one, and click on Add Selected Asset to Stage. After positioning the background video, let's add a new image to the scene with our prototype logo and color. We'll do this by adding the file to the existing intro collection. After adding it to the stage, we'll use it in its original size and centered on the screen. Let's add a start menu to our title screen. There are several ways to do this in TilBuci, such as including images used as buttons as we did before. However, we can also use a contraption. Contraptions are tools that TilBuci offers to simplify a process that could be done in other ways. They help save time and also facilitate future adjustments. In the Contraptions menu, click on Menu Layouts. Working with menus begins with setting a layout, which groups their visual properties. You can have multiple menu layouts in the same movie, each suited to a specific area where they are used. To create a layout, adjust the graphic properties in the right column of this window. It's important to specify an image to serve as the menu background and another to be used for the buttons. The text settings will be applied to the text of each button. Let's adjust our first menu and, when finished, we'll name this layout Basic. To display a menu, we need to perform an action. In this scene, we want the menu to be visible as soon as the scene is displayed, so let's add the action in the Scene Properties window under the Start Actions tab. Look for the Show Menu action in the Contraptions group. This action requires several parameters. First, we need to specify the name of the layout to be used, Basic in our case. Next, we specify the text for each button, separated by semicolons. In our case, we will use string variable names so that the text adapts to the chosen language. The next parameter is the name of an integer variable that will receive the number of the clicked button, 1 for the first, 2 for the second, and so on. With this, we can adjust our action according to the user's choice. Then, we define the reference point for the positioning of our menu on the screen. Let's choose bottom. The next two parameters are a fine adjustment of this positioning. Let's indicate 0 in X and 50 in Y. When you expand the creative block, you'll see that we have the When Selected event available, which is called whenever one of the buttons is clicked. Since we define the integer variable menu to receive the click information, we just need to make a comparison with it to respond to the user's click. To compare the value of an integer variable, look for the action. Check if two int values are equal. As parameters, we will use the name of our menu variable, starting with hashtag, and the number to compare, 1. Expand the created block and you will see that we have two events. then for when the two values are equal, and else for when they are different. In the latter case, we can make a new comparison to see if the clicked button was the second one. If it is not, the clicked button was the third one by elimination. Back to our scene, let's test the menu display. Notice that it's displayed where we indicated, but on top of the title graphic. We just need to reposition it to adjust this. Also notice that the names of the variables we specified appear as the button text. This is happening because they haven't been defined yet. Let's adjust our string files and re-upload them to fix this. Now, with all the adjustments made, see how our title screen looks, with the three buttons now displaying the correct text. We have three options: start a new game, load a saved game, or watch the introduction again. Checking the menu display actions, let's adjust the result of clicking the third button. First, we'll need to hide the menu. TilBuci keeps the menu visible as long as it's not removed by an action, allowing it to remain visible even when a new scene is loaded. Second, let's reload the intro scene as expected. Let's go back to editing the intro scene. Notice that it's not possible to reach our title screen from there. To fix this, we'll add a skip button to advance. Since we'll have text on the button itself, we'll use two images placed in separate folders, Langen and Lanked, taking advantage of the media file loading path change we already set for the narrations in this scene. This button's function is simple. Just load the title scene. Let's return to the splash scene and begin a full test from there. Notice that we can now reach our title screen and return to the introduction without any problems. Note, however, that the transition between the introduction and the title, even though adjusted, can still be improved. Open the intro scene and select the background instance. Copy the instance name, background. Now, open the title scene and give the same name to its background instance. Let's now do a new full test. Notice that in this way, the background doesn't disappear and reappear in the scene transitions. This happens because when TilBuci finds instances with the same name in two scenes, instead of removing the old one and adding the new one, it keeps it, making transitions with an animation when necessary. Let's check out one of these transition animations. Back in the title scene, select the logo instance. Let's copy it by clicking the corresponding button in the right Instances tab. Now, open the intro scene again and paste the copied instance, changing its position so that it's off-screen. After saving the scene, let's go back to the splash scene and start a new test. Notice that TilBuci will perform a movement animation for the instance since it found it in both scenes, but in different positions. In this video, we learn a bit about how TilBuci transitions instances between scenes, offering some animation possibilities. Additionally, we learn how to use the menu creation feature, which can significantly speed up your productions.